My grandma tells me that I could tell cars by their wheels when I was like 3, and that was all that I could see. She tells that. I don't know how true that is. I can't remember that. The car that made me love cars was the DeLorean. Seeing the DeLorean on the cover, not in Back to the Future, but on the cover of my first car magazine, that was like, whoa, cars can be different and special and aren't, you know, this ugly brown thing that my parents drive. I'm Matt Farah, and I'm the owner of The Smoking Tire. Here we are in California, and today we're shooting one takes. This is kind of my bread and butter. I always wanted to work in cars. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm not a wrench. I've never been a good wrench. So I went to work at a couple different dealerships. I worked at an exotic car rental company for a while, learned a lot about exotic cars. And then I opened a car wash with my friend Larry Casilla of Ammo. And the car wash led to a driving club, and the driving club led to making videos of our drives. One day, Tom, my camera guy, brought home like a news anchor microphone and was like, here, you're the host now. And I hosted a video, and I cracked some jokes, and I interviewed some people that were in the driving club. And like a week later, a dude called me and he said, I run a YouTube network. We have a car show called Fast Lane Daily. Our host, Derek D, is sick. I saw your video. You're perfect. Can you come fill in? And I did. And I went and filled in for Derek D on Fast Lane Daily for a week. And at the end of the week, I kind of didn't want to leave. I didn't want to go back to the cold, wet car wash, which is where I was working. And so I kind of asked for my own show, and I got it. You know, at the time, it seemed like 2007, you know, internet boom, anything's possible. 2008, it all crashes down. The company sells to Google cheap, and I got kicked out to the street with nothing. Tom and I decided to continue making videos. We enjoyed making videos. We decided that we would have to move to California because it's February right now, and we could shoot all year. And I would sell my half of the car wash, and we would use that money to start our own YouTube channel. We had the skills. We owned a very basic amount of equipment, and so we started over. It's so weird when people who talk about starting YouTube channels now, they ask me for advice. Like, I don't know, the landscape is so different. I'm not sure what advice I would have for somebody doing it today, other than I think we got a lot of mileage out of consistent uploads. You know, back then, the fact that just me and Tom were able to bang out, you know, a video a week with 2 people and 1 camera, you know, and do that, you know, 60 or 70 times. Without a paycheck, that's kind of how you start. You know, people are like, when they hear that, they're like, oh, well, that sounds hard. It's like, yeah. You want to turn the fun job into the real job, you have to work harder than the people who have the real jobs. One take is a Twitch stream with a real car. That's it. There's nothing advanced about it. And the only thing that makes them important is the schedule is very regular, Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m., 52 weeks a year. And the variety is huge. You're going to get something different. And by keeping that schedule and keeping the variety, what you get are people who would watch videos that they might not otherwise watch in an on-demand world. People bring their cars out for all different reasons. I ask them usually. I think one of the things that people want is to see what someone with a lot of experience thinks of their modifications. Most of us can't just, you know, call up a test driver and say, well, what do you think about this? And so I have offered that, and I'm not Randy Popes, but I have more experience than the average guy.
I personally don't trust anybody else to drive my car. I don't let anybody drive my car. I don't even let my best friend drive my car. So like, I need somebody I can trust, and I know him for a while now. I know Matt for a few years now.
So you won't trust your best friend, but you'll trust Matt?
Well, Matt's driven some quick, you know, hard to drive cars. My best friend now.
I also think that people would like to be a little famous, maybe appearing on You know, my video might make you the star of the S2000 Club for that week. You know, I think people want to represent their car. That they oh, you have, I haven't seen you do a Saab 900 yet. You know, let's show some love to that community, and I've got one. And people want to hang out. They want to come out for a nice day in the canyons, and they just want to hang out and talk cars. I wouldn't be able to do any of this if people weren't as nice as they are. And I try and talk people out of it. People are like, oh, I'm from Colorado, but I'll come down. I'm like, you shouldn't. It's not worth it. That's silly. But sometimes they do, and that's crazy. Everyone's so nice. I don't know why they want to hang out or why they want to do it, but there's a lot of reasons, I think, and everyone's got their own, and I appreciate all of them. I really do. I mean, here's what I really want. We've done pretty good here. We've done pretty good. You know, 165 or 170 million video views, you know, out of a house is pretty stout. The next thing is, I want one job. Right now I have 6. Hey, you try and do 6 things. At most, you're putting 1/6 of your attention into any one thing, unless you're some sort of mad scientist that is like, you know, beyond human. So the next thing is to focus on one thing at a time. I think all that's left in this gig is to have ideas and then be given the freedom and the budget to execute those ideas. What makes a good car review? I don't have the first clue. One done by someone that's not me. Car videos are like TV. You know, it's all about the characters, right? So whatever it is that I do in my reviews, someone just sees the way that I talk, the way that I respond to a car, to give it information, and they go, I'm in tune with the way that this guy thinks. I do the same thing. Like there's 4 people in this world, and I don't need to name them, but there are 4 people whose car reviews that I read. And it's not because I think they're better writers or better presenters or anything like that. I'm fortunate enough to know these people in person, and I know that we think on a certain wavelength together. And I know I can see where they're coming from, and so everyone has a person that they like, you know? So this year I went from 7 cars to 4. I downsized, which is still very excessive. Still too much. I have my '88 Mustang, you know, crazy canyon track, whatever it is, you know, full chassis build. Then I have my Lexus with 953,000 miles on it, the LS400, which we are slowly but surely trying to get to 1 million miles, still cranking them off. And then I have an Aston Martin Vanquish 2003 that's been converted to manual. Anything that was ever wrong with the Vanquish, mainly the worst gearbox on the planet, we've solved that. And now it's lovely to drive. So yeah, that's where we're at now. And the RS has got like the full Mountoon package on it. It picks up about 40 horsepower at the wheels and about 100 pounds of torque at the wheels. That's on 91 octane unpumped. It goes, it really goes. Yeah, it's a very fast car. But it's only fun. You have to go really fast. Like if you're driving slow, it's not that fun. You have to be going really fast. But when you are, it's really good. My favorite thing about The Office is that the smoking tire, where we make videos and other things. We're the only company in this whole building that has quotes around our name. And I assure you, not the shadiest company. There's definitely some import-export happening. I am into cars for a couple of reasons. It was always, as a kid, always. My grandma tells me that I could tell cars by their wheels when I was like 3, and that was all that I could see. Every picture of me from when I was 5, I'm playing with a little remote control car, or a wind-up car, or Hot Wheels, or a Power Wheels, or I'm in my go-kart, or when I was like a little kid. Owners of the dealerships would let me behind the ropes, because like I knew the rules, like hands behind your back, don't touch. I knew the specs of every car when I was like 8. I would study it. I wouldn't read books. I still don't read books. I would read car magazines, cover to cover, over and over. I could read car magazines before I could read anything else. It was just always an obsession. You know, you'd read Road and Track or something and go, I want to be the guy who did this. You know, I didn't ever think that was actually like possible. And so I went a whole bunch of zigzaggy weird ways just to end up in that place. And then it was like the act of driving. Like, as you can guess, I wasn't the fastest runner as a kid, but you put me in a little go-kart and I would slay people. I mean, I just always got driving. My parents got me a go-kart when I was like 9. My dad would let me drive his car around our little neighborhood, you know, when I was like 10. And just the idea of, I didn't need to run fast. I could drive fast, and that was my thing. That was my thrill. Cars they're machines you can interact with, and it's the most feedback you could get from a machine. You know, there's G-forces and sounds and smells and things to touch and things to play with. And so all of that, you know, together, probably a lot of the reasons you guys like cars. You know, there's nothing special about me. I'm just a dude who likes cars and who has been obsessed with them since forever.